Hi, so I've got two darts to test today. For Illawarra Nerf, we've been using these worker red darts, the full lengths, but somebody's given me feedback that they think that the Ekinds are better, and I'd like to answer that question. Now, the only reason people use full length darts is for flywheelers that are pistols, for sidearms like a hammer shot, and sometimes they'll use them in full auto flywheels at a higher FPS like this. So they're the three blasters I'll be testing with today. And what I'm looking for is durability, because the ends do pop off these with flywheels. So which one's going to be cheaper in the long run? The Ekinds are cheaper to buy off the start than the workers are. I'm going to want to look at what the FPS is and what the accuracy is across these three blasters, because it's very different in terms of what a hammer shot wants to do and what a high FPS noisy blaster wants to do. This is firing the Ultra 2 with the Blaster Tech modded, so it fires the Ekind darts or any other elite darts. Okay, testing it out with the Worker Gen 2s, or Worker Reds I should say. 128, 134, 152, 132, 134, 133, 136, 134, 141, and that's it. These are the blue Ekind waffle tip darts. 135, 144, 145, 140, 144, 152, 138, 141, 146. This is a hammer shot, which has been modified with a Blaster Tech Elite Dart mod. 62, 59, 61, 64, 64, misfire, 61, 64. Okay, now I've switched to the blue Ekind. 51, 66, 55, 64, 66.9, 61, 67.5, 60. Okay, now this one has the red worker darts in it. 165, 162, 165, 165, 159, 163, 159, 160, 158, 152, 166. This is firing the blue Ekind waffle head darts. 175, 181, 167, 178, 181, 170, 170, 165. All right, so now I'll do an accuracy test. I'll fire first out of the Ultra 2 with the upgrade kit in it. I'll go red and then blue, then I'll do the hammer shot, red and then blue, and then I'll do the full auto blaster. So for accuracy, I'm going to be aiming at the small clock in the middle of the pillow, the one at the end of the hall. This is firing the red full lengths out of the Ultra 2. This is firing the blue Ekinds out of the Ultra 2. So the hammer shot, I'm going to be a lot closer because it's only hitting at 60-ish FPS. This is firing the red worker darts out of the hammer shot. He's firing the blue Ekind out of the hammer shot. This is firing the red workers out of the regulator. firing the blue Ekind out of the regulator. We put a second mag through with the red darts firing out of the regulator. This is a second mag with the blue Ekind. So in terms of durability, the main thing with flywheeling darts is the ends popping off. Now, there's a spectacular difference. From everything we've fired today, we only had 3 decaps from the blue Ekind, but we had 13 decaps from the red worker full lengths. So that's a huge difference. I noticed them mostly when I was firing the high velocity one. So what I'll do now is I'll test with the Ultra 2 with the upgrade kit, because that's what most commonly people use. And I'll fire each of 2 darts out over and over again, and we'll see how many times before it decaps. So I found that with these blue darts, they seem to be decapping when they hit the wall as opposed to as they come out. So if you noticed, it decapped when it hit the wall, not as a result of the flywheel itself. So when firing into a hard surface, the red are actually stronger than the Ekind. If you fire the Ekind into a wall from about 2 meters away, they break on every second, third shot. But as long as you're not shooting point blank into a wall, then almost definitively the Ekind is stronger. I fired this 10 times before it started to look a bit raz and started to wobble through the air. Whereas the red workers, they seem to decap on maybe the 3rd shot on average. So yeah, there's a huge difference there. This is where I'd normally do a findability test by scattering them in the backyard, but these come in literally every color of the rainbow. You can pretty much get them in everything. And these red, we know from experience, are easy to find. So that's not going to be a defining factor. One thing I do care about is how much they hurt. Normally I want darts to hit hard because I want people to know that they've been hit. But with our Illawarra Nerf games, we want them to hit soft because there's a lot of kids that play. So we'll see which of these 2 darts hits harder or softer with a full auto dump out of this blaster. That hurt a lot. Like, I would even go as a 9 out of 10, but it might be because they all hit me in the one spot. Let's check the Ekind. I think that hurt more. Yeah, it did. It was like more stinging. Was the first one was sort of like whacking with a punch, but this one was more like when you get flicked with a towel. It's very unpleasant. So a full mag dump, it's very hard to tell what hurts more because you're just writhing in pain. So I've done one at a time now. I'm going to go red, blue, and we'll see about the pain then. So that was all right. That was like a 5 out of 10. So the blue hurt more. Let's go again. The blues hurt more. And now for the wrapper. So it's important to know that when you buy these red workers in Australia, you're looking at 100 for $13.20. When you buy the blue ones, you're looking at, these are the Ekind, you're looking at 200 darts for $15.99 or $16. So straight off the bat, we know that these are going to be the better in terms of value, but when we get down to how they get destroyed, we'll look at that a little further. In terms of FPS, if you're going with something like an Ultra 2 that's been modded, the winner there again is the blue Ekind. It's about the same for the hammer shot. So if you're firing at a lower distance, a lower FPS, it doesn't really matter which kind of dart you get. If you're firing at the higher FPS full auto, then again, the blue is the winner. In terms of accuracy, we watched the footage back, and out of the modified Ultra 2, it was actually the red that was more accurate. Out of the hammer shot, it was the blue that was more accurate. And out of the regulator, it was pretty close, but it was slightly more accurate with the Ekind blue. Okay, now in terms of durability, if we're talking about shooting a long distance, not into a hard surface, there's a huge gap, right? There's like a double tick here for blue, because after 10 shots, we didn't have a decap. Every like 2 or 3 shots, we had a decap with the red workers. Now, in terms of hard durability, firing into a hard surface, we got decaps every 2.5 shots and only 5.5 shots more, which is better for the hard durability. Now you might be saying to yourself, how's that possible? Don't they decap every 2.5? But it was just, I think, the nature of the way we were firing them. But overall, still, that's a winner for blue in terms of overall durability. In terms of pain, there was a clear winner here if you want pain, which was the Ekinds. We did a few tests firing at a long distance, and at a longer distance, there was no real difference between the pain of the two different kinds of darts. So I think because we're looking for low pain, that's a win there for the red workers. Now, in terms of cost, we've already said it's cheaper to buy the Ekind. It comes to 8 cents a dart, whereas it's 13 cents a dart for the red workers. If you look at when the cost doubles, and taking into this durability into account, every 3 shots is about when something decaps. So the cost doubles then. So 23 cents after 3 shots, whereas after 3 shots, these are still going pretty good. It's only after 10 shots that they start to fall apart. So after 3 shots, we'll say they're worth about 10 cents. They cost you about 10 cents. So overall, we looked at the heuristics that we took measurements from. I know that some people want distance, but it's raining outside today. So the blue came out winning 8 of the categories and the red winning 4. And of course, you know, we've ticked these as appropriate. So I actually think that the person who advised me Ekinds are better is correct. They're cheaper, they're more durable. In terms of accuracy, they're pretty good. And in terms of FPS, they go a little further. Shame we can't test outside today, but my conclusion for the day is buy any coloured Ekind darts you want. I bought red once and they were terrible. They decapped all the time. But as long as that's not an issue for you, you know, it is a gamble, I guess. There could be a bad print run, but the ones we got today were really, really good. So I think I'm going to advise our admin team that we switch to the Ekind darts. Thanks, everyone.